Most common questions about chiropractic that I hear, especially from people that are new, are, boy, once I go, am I going to have to go all the time? And I'll tell you this, I have had 7,000 charts, and most of the people that experience a really good alignment come back and ask for it again. If you think about mowing your lawn or having a landscaper come out or going to the dentist and having a nice teeth cleaning, it feels great and you're setting a new bar, new expectation, and you're actually healthier. So a lot of people enjoy that and decide to be healthier. Some people are worried about that, and I think it's a wonderful thing. The other frequently asked question, probably second most that I get, is it going to hurt getting adjusted by a chiropractor? And when you get treatment, most of the time it doesn't hurt at all. I would say 35% of the time. I have a few patients who had really pushed through an injury. For instance, I'll give you an example. I had a patient last Monday. He was working in the yard. He had bent over to pick something up, really hurt himself, and he felt a little click in his low back and kind of couldn't quite straighten up. And I was asking him, so how has this happened before? And he said, oh yeah, on and off every summer, and what it does is it usually goes away. So in this scenario, if it's been happening on and off every summer, some patients have had this for 10 years, some have had it for 5, some have had it for 18, some have had it for 30 years, then sometimes getting your first alignment with a real solid pattern is a little bit tender. I would say you could expect that it feels like going to the gym. So if you haven't been to the gym in 30 years, what we do is we get parts of your spine which has not been moving and not been working, and we put it back to work. So once it does that, it's kind of lazy and sore, and we're going to start building muscles, so you'll feel some soreness there. However, those joints that are really in pain, which is what brought you in, particularly this man who had been doing yard work, he had a really raw lower back, and that joint had been overused. So it needed to chill out. It needed to relax. So the alignment puts that work that used to just totally overwhelm that raw joint, it put it on the other ones next door, so that it has teamwork now throughout the spine. So look forward to your adjustment. It's a good sore. Next frequently asked question that I get in my practice is, wow, you adjust kids, you adjust children, or how young do you adjust children? We have a big family practice. I used to treat athletes. I used to treat particularly football, basketball. Now I do mostly surfers. But man, children, let me tell you, if you start life out lined up, it's not so bad. So a lot of people say, do you treat kids? And of course we do. There is some divided philosophies in chiropractic, and we have different approaches in each office. I personally believe that children are pretty flexible and they're doing pretty good. So the majority of kids need a good checkup, but they do really well unless they're accumulating a lot of injuries. So under 5 or 6 years old, I will see them quarterly to 6 times a year, unlike an adult, which needs 12 to 20 visits to stay adjusted. And why is that? Why is that? So your spine actually does not mature and develop into bone until mid-20s on average. So anybody under mid-20s is still got a lot of cartilage with the bone and has a big chance of correcting alignments for the rest of their life. We actually love to get our hands on the kids because we can literally change how the wear and tear patterns are in a person for the rest of their life if we see you before 25. So we most certainly can help children. Now, how young can we treat children? I have been called to the hospital and adjusted a newborn just a few hours old. So, if you were to crawl through a couple-inch hole into this world, You could imagine all the maneuvering you would have to do. And nowadays, you have something called C-section, which is really popular. And C-section is where they open the mom up and grab the baby however they do. So sometimes it's an arm and sometimes it's a leg. And what happens is they're pulling on a chain, and boy, a checkup on a newborn doesn't hurt anything. So I would say 75% of the time with a C-section, there is a correction in the spine to be made for some of that just birthing trauma, which is to be expected.